Hello, in this video we will introduce probability density function of a continuous random variable. So we know continuous random variables probability have to use density function because for the particular value of this random variable, the probability is 0. Because the variable is continuous, there is a very much uncountable numbers for this variable. So for any of them, the probability is 0. So we only can talk about the interval of the probability for the interval between A and B. And for the integral for the probability density function over all the possible values for this random variable. So if there's a function f(x) satisfies these conditions, so we call this function is a probability density function for continuous random variable. So first, this function, this f(x) is larger than 0 or larger than equal to 0, and f(x) integral over the negative infinite to the positive infinite is 1. So for some probability density function, it may not have possible values over the range from negative to the positive infinite. It may define on, for example, 1, 2, 3. But anyway, the integral for all the possible values for this f(x) is 1. So, which means the probability is 1, right? And for any of two values, we can calculate the probability between these values using the integral for this f(x) over these two values. So if these three conditions are met, so we call this f(x) is a probability density function for this continuous random variable x. So for example, this is density function for normal distribution. This is continuous random variable from negative infinite to the positive infinite. So we can calculate the probability, for example, from this value to this value using integral. So this is the area under this curve between these two values. But we know for any value between them in this line, any value, the density is this value, but the probability is 0 because we can only calculate the interval, not the any value for this continuous probability density, right? So next we take a look at an example. For example, this is f(x), this is a random variable x. So this probability density function is a function of x, and only the available value for x is between 0 and 3. And we can verify this is a probability density function for continuous random variable x. Because this value for x all are equal or larger than 0 for all the possible values in 0 and 3. And we take integral over 0 to 3 for this function. If we calculate, this is 1. So this is satisfies three conditions defined in the previous page. So this is a probability density function. And if we want to calculate the probability between, say, 0 and 1, so we can just use the integral of this function, this expression, with dx for integral and over 0 to 1. So if you have learned the basic calculus, so this integral is this expression. Just we set 1 and 0, and the difference of this expression over these two values is 1 of 27. So which means the probability between these two values is 1 of 27. Thanks for watching.